Hi, this is Stacy Chlomi from The Advisor, and today I'm very excited because we have a very special guest today. He is Mark Fox, and he is an amazing person who has a lot of exciting news to tell us about energy and frequencies and healing the body. But before we begin, I just want to do a quick shout out to DMA World Consultant. They are a marketing agency that help little businesses become big businesses. They don't want those little businesses to get scammed by paying thousands of dollars. So they ask that you come and visit their website at dmaworld.com. Mark is the owner, and he'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, so Mark, tell me a little about yourself and what you do, because we talked previously and I got very excited because I love this stuff and it's so effective. I'm a total believer. I love it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. So it's my background is done a lot of different things, but primarily was as a rocket scientist. So I'm not a doctor, I'm a rocket scientist, and I got involved a lot of different things. I went into computers and that kind of stuff. And then like 23 years ago, that dog right there couldn't come up the stairs. She just started crying. I'm like, what's wrong with her? So we took her to the veterinarian and they x-rayed her, and she had severe arthritis in her spine, which is awful. And she was fairly fine, but a friend of mine, Dr. Oz Jackson, he's a super forward-thinking veterinarian. He goes, hey, there's this person that has this magic machine that can reverse arthritis. So I scheduled to take her up there. She got too sick too fast. Unfortunately, we didn't get to take her, but that piqued my interest in this machine and energy and frequency. And I'm skeptical as all get out. I'm a rocket scientist. I'm an engineer. I'm like, this can't be real. This is magic. And I've been looking at it for 23 years, and there's something there. There's just too much evidence and data that, so I didn't get obsessed with it, but I was just constantly kind of looking at it now and then. And it just, when I found out really that PTSD had such a high success rate with it, it made me angry that this is being held hostage in a clinical environment or with expensive machines. So my undergraduate's chemical engineering. I'm not an electrical engineer, but I'm granting myself an electrical engineering degree after this project because so much time on it. You thought it would be, I start off very naively, this will be simple, catching things on fire and hundreds of coils and all kinds of stuff. We finally have a device that's awesome, but it just made me mad. They're $10, $15, $30,000 machines. I'm like, there's got to be a way to make something that's more affordable. So that's started off with that. I want to make a dent in the 44 suicides a day, right? So there's 22 military veterans, 15 first responders, 5 medical workers, and 2 active duty in the United States. That's not counting the world, and that's not counting civilians out of uniform, right? So there's tons and tons and tons more. And then when you look at it, trauma, PTSD and trauma, they're in the same category. And so there's just a huge amount of that was like, I need to try and get it out in the world. And so that was really the driving force. And then since then we can talk about it, but there's 59 different protocols on there. I just expanded it, actually, some expansion ones, like 50 of them yesterday from research that I found. So it can do a lot of really cool stuff. My goal was, number one, not hurt anybody. So I've spent forever looking at, we talked earlier about EMF versus PMF. People get them confused. One's harmful, one's good, right? So they get confused between the two. So making sure the energy levels and stuff were safe, looking at everyone else's data, all the research has been done. So that was my number one goal, and it's extremely safe. People that aren't familiar with PEMF, it's pulse electromagnetic fields. The Earth puts it out all the time. The Earth has what's called Schumann frequencies, 7.83, 14.1, and 20.3, I think. So you're engulfed in it all the time. So it's not new and magical. It's been around for billions of years, right? So that was it. And I don't want to, my number 2 goal was, I don't want to sell voodoo. We talked earlier about Facebook haters and everything else out there. I get it. I don't want to sell something if it's not working for people. So I have most people will ask me, do you have any research on this? The answer is yes, but I'm not putting it on my website yet because it's not statistically significant,
Right.
that type of thing. But with PTSD, I have ran my own clinical trials. That data I can defend for sure.
Yes.
We have a 95% success rate with it, which
Wow.
is hard to believe, but it's, and people go, what do you mean 95% success? How are you measuring that? Well, it's self-reported by PLC-5, which what the Veterans Administration uses. It's a 20 question questionnaire, 0 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or 4, that'd be the worst. On all 20, it would be a score of 80.
Right.
We measure it by that. So we measure before and after 30 days, and 95% of them come down with their score.
Wow.
That's it. It's 2 out of 3 are statistically and clinically significant if you want to get into the nerdy medical.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's super encouraging. And it's not,
Oh,
people
for sure.
about PTSD too many times, they immediately go to military and stuff, but I'll tell you, more than half of our customers are civilian women with bad husbands, bad boyfriends, or both, right? Miscarriages, life, kids suck, you know, all kinds of things. And then the number one thing most people know, it's the number one cause of trauma in the United States is car wrecks.
Oh, really?
44,000 a day or whatever it is. So people are traumatized of that intersection or going to that front or things
Makes
like
sense.
that. It's fun. This is the most fun I've ever had. Not making any money yet, but hopefully we will soon.
Mhm.
But it looks really promising. Every day I get some unbelievable success story. So
Yeah, you know, it people don't realize, but the world is run by energy, and energy is such a powerful you know, part of our lives. And you know, like the gadget that you created is just unbelievable. You know, people don't realize, but the energy could actually, you know, you know, help to change people and help heal people. Maybe you can go and explain how the process is done, because people, you know, sometimes people, you know, they don't understand what they can't see, and explain, you know, how it works and why it's so powerful.
So one thing is I was talking to a good friend of mine who has got multiple bestseller and New York Times bestsellers and stuff. He goes, well, you know what you need, Mark, is you need a book. And I'm like, I don't have time to write another book. And it was halfway through the conversation and I went, wait a minute. I wrote 8 of them 3 years ago on this. Nobody cared. And he goes, well, what's the title of it? And I showed it to him. It was Resonance Frequency Therapy. And he goes, yeah, nobody gives a crap about that. He goes, we need a real title that somebody would care about. I'm like, all right. He goes, let me think of one. And he goes, I got it already. What on earth are we doing to our health?
I like that.
A rocket scientist explores out of this world therapies. So I rewrote the book last week, right, and modified it for that. But to your comment, in that book, what I talk about with energy is nothing in the world happens without an energy exchange. You said sometimes you can't see it, okay? You're roasting a hot dog on a campfire. That doesn't roast without an energy exchange.
Exactly.
Sunburned, right? You don't get a sunburn without energy exchange. Cooking food, the chemistry that's going on in your body. When you fall down the stairs and break your leg, that's an energy exchange between gravity and your leg, right? So
Yes.
everything in the world is an energy exchange and nothing happens without it.
Right.
I know this with string theory and all those other things. We're all vibrating energy anyway. So if you think about it that way, it's not voodoo and weird, it's energy. When people say, how exactly does PEMF work? The answer, here's the answer I give the doctors when they get real snooty about it. It's like, what's the mechanism of action? Explain it exactly. Well, you don't know how aspirin works either.
Right.
You don't know how any drug in the world works. You have theories, but you've never proven it.
Right.
What has been shown, and this is the main theory, is that PEMF, the magnetic field, it recharges your cells' batteries. So the cells in the mitochondria in your body all have a voltage, just like the car in your battery. And it's been proven that when the voltage drops, you get sick. And it's been proven that PEMF charges those cells. The voltage will go back up. What does that do? It allows your body to heal itself, regardless of what ailment it is. So that's point one. Point two is ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. It's the main chemical that your cells use for food to eat, to get energy. And this increases ATP up to 500%. So
Wow.
recharging your cells' batteries, and it's giving more food to allow your body to heal itself. That's the key thing, because there is no drugs involved.
Yeah,
You can't overdose. If your body doesn't need the energy, it doesn't use it. It just passes.
exactly.
So that's how we think it works,
Mhm.
but we don't know for sure, right? And when I get attacked by that, explain it exactly. I just go, you know what? And I can usually tell in the conversation, and just go, it's relief before reason. Back to, if I'm not hurting anybody, relief before reason. In my lifetime, I'll never be able to explain it in 100% proof, right? And if it works for you, it works for you. Just try it. There's anybody that's old enough like me to remember back in the 70s, there was a comedian called Rich Hall, and he had a thing called sniglets. So they were words that don't exist in the dictionary but should.
Yeah.
And one of them was boson. Boson. It's an invisible gas that surrounds people that stops new ideas from getting in.
Right.
What I really kind of push is no boson. But to answer your question, it's an energy exchange, it's charging your cells, batteries, and it's creating food for it. That's the main things that we know for sure. And then it gets into all other kinds of things about vagus nerve stimulation and various things, but you can't prove that. So I try not to spend too much time on it. Your listeners will get this because they're smart people, but some doctors, I lose them with this.
Mhm.
Do you know how a slice of pizza gets heated in a microwave oven? And they go, well, it must be a trick question because he's asked me. They go, yeah, I mean, energy bounces around and it causes, I don't know, energy into the food. I'm like, the theory is you're running just the right frequency in the microwave. That is the rotational energy of a water molecule. That means the water molecule is spinning on its own axis, causing friction.
Right.
Nobody in the world has ever photographed or videotaped a spinning water molecule. Probably never will. So it's just the theory of that's how it works. So I try to tell people, don't get so tied up into it. And when people will go, there's no research on, it's all voodoo. And I'm like, well, okay, there's 35,000 published papers on
Right.
voodoo. You go to PubMed, there's 6,000 you'll find. The majority of them actually are outside the United States. And we can get into why that is.
Yeah.
Want to, but a lot of it was done outside the US. We're the only country that doesn't promote heavily electrical stimulation therapy. Okay.
Right.
There's all kinds of double-blind studies and stuff out there, and it's been proven over and over again, but it's not a reoccurring drug.
Right.
That it's never going to be the model for the pharmaceutical industry because it's a one-time thing you're buying. It's helping a bunch of people, and it doesn't have side effects, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's super exciting. Like I said, I'm a rocket scientist. I still think it's magic, but I got enough data to say there's something there.
Right.
It's helping people.
And a lot of the different medical technologies and even medications are always done first in Europe. Europe has, and they've had lots of success rates, and whatever the laws may be with our FDA, they don't have the same type of strict laws in Europe, but they have amazing technology. And in some of those countries, they are so far advanced with so many different, technologies and medications, and it's amazing. I'm not really sure why we're not on the same level as them, but a lot of the papers that you were talking about and a lot of the information, they are so far advanced in so many ways. Now, you were mentioning yourself that this could help various conditions, not just post-traumatic stress disorder, but you were mentioning that it could help lots of other things. Can you go over maybe some of the things with people that this is useful for?
Sure. And just a real quick point on why it's not popular in the United States. I'll give you the short answer.
Okay.
Your body is chemical, electrical, and mechanical.
Right.
In 1934, a thing called the Flexner Report came out and it said, if you're doing anything but drugs and surgery, we're pulling your medical license and we're pulling the funding from the universities. So Rockefeller and those guys behind it, you lost your license. So there was a ton of electrical stimulation research being done in the United States at the time. prior to that.
Oh,
Most of it got lost and scrapped because you didn't have a license anymore and people weren't allowed to study it. And the rich guys in the country pulled all their funding. They owned the equivalent of the American Medical Association at that time. That's why America's so far behind on electrical stimulation. So
oh,
we're
I see.
catching up, but we're still behind. Other things you can treat, like I said, there's 59 protocols on there. The ones that I've been concentrating on the most is PTSD's number one.
Yes.
Anxiety is number two because it's the largest ailment for human beings in the world.
Yes.
Concentrating on anxiety, sleep, which
Mhm.
is a huge factor. And then, of course, pain, whether it's back pain, neck pain, sciatica, that kind of stuff. So those were the four main ones that I've concentrated on. What is getting me excited beyond that is diabetes and blood sugar.
Yes.
We have a specific immune support that drops blood sugar. And I have customers every week send me their glucose monitoring chart. They go, this is impossible. How could this have done this? I went from
Right.
180 to 80. It's not possible. So I wish people like get more. I have like 35, 40 video testimonials. I wish I had 4,000, but to get that from somebody is super hard, especially when it's personal medical stuff. But it's like, I would love to have that kind of study that shows statistically what it's doing for blood sugar. Meditation, to enhance your meditation, some of the brainwave protocols are super good to help out, get some super good feedback on that. Stuff that don't have enough data, right? We're trying to collect it now, but stuff is like, what? I had two 75-year-old women call me and they said they ran general information for 3 weeks. Their varicose veins in their legs disappeared.
Oh, wow.
What? Okay. Here's another one. I had a medical MD, a female MD, call me, and she goes, Mark, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but she's going to go, do you know what vulvatia is? I'm like, no, it sounds like I don't want to know. Do like vulva female parts. And she's like, exactly. She goes, about 15% of the women in the world have it. It's stabbing, knife pains, itching, burning in female genitals. I'm like, what? And she goes, I'm running every protocol you've got. And if I find the right recipe, you split the billion with me. That's what she said. Okay. So there's some cool stuff like that. Probably my favorite story still, I've told it multiple times of all time so far. A 17-year-old girl on a Zoom call told me, Mark, I've never had a date in my life because I have Tourette's. I'm a monster. No boy's going to ask me out. She goes, I ran brain balancing. My Tourette's disappeared, and I have a date. I have a date Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
Been dating the guy now for 2 years, and she has not had Tourette's again. Now, that's a statistical end number of 100 people, right? But it's like, that changed her life. Tourette's went away, and she has a boyfriend.
Wow.
I didn't tell her to do that. I've got doctors telling me, hey, this is kicking butt for MS. And I go, I don't have an MS protocol. What are you running? Fibromyalgia?
Yeah.
Yep. So I got to be careful because I'm not a doctor, right? But it's every day now. Somebody emails me or calls me. Do you have anything for RSNC? Right? They make up some 4-letter acronym, or they tell me some, or it's a Latin word that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Google it. You don't do that without a cold drink anymore. It's like, can't see the pictures, right? So you go and you go, all right, this one, you're like, okay, it's inflammation of the whatever, run inflammation.
Right.
Neuropathy, it's a nerve issue. Okay, run fibromyalgia. Just today, what are you doing for blood poisoning? Okay, run liver support, right? So there's 4 or 5 basic protocols in there that are kind of underlying things. It's like, go try it. I had a lady tell me she's only every other week, her arms itch so much she scratches until she's bleeding to death, literally.
Yeah.
I go, what is it? She goes, nobody knows. I said, well, it sounds like inflammation and allergies. Try those 2 and see if it works. She did, and it went away.
Wow.
But doctors didn't even know what it was, right? So you asked me how, so there's tons and tons of things like that. And in this field, there's a lot of people doing stuff with vagus nerve and some really advanced stuff, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I'm taking, because people are going to want to know where the protocols come from. They came from 8,000 practitioners over 35 years playing with it.
Yes.
Right? So it's essentially their frequency pairs, if you think of them as ingredients, protocols, or recipes. So it's just these people taking a little oregano out, add some salt, right? They're changing the frequencies and just playing with it. The reason there's not millions of double-blind studies out of that field is because doctors don't publish papers, they treat patients.
Right.
So if you think about that, the practitioners and stuff, they're running, chiropractors are running people through the office. They're not publishing papers that take 3 years to get. So that's
right.
There should be millions of times more data on it, but that's where my protocols come from. I just took those, did something I think that's unique, which is I turned them into songs. We were talking about sound earlier. I'll show you what.
Yeah.
So it's a MP3 player, but it doesn't have a speaker. It has coils.
Oh, wow.
So the actual protocols are songs. They're MP3. So I actually take the protocols that we just talked about for the last 35 years, and I use a music synthesizer, which I don't play music. I wish I did, but I use a music synthesizer to build an MP3. So that's what the device actually is. It's an MP3 player, and it looks like the original iPod on purpose for familiarity, right?
Yeah.
For people that are old, like me, I purposely made it look like a Star Trek tricorder. Those little bars are right there.
Oh, how cool. I love it.
That's what the Star Trek tricorder used to be, where bones would go and make somebody, analyze them and then make the bad stuff go away. So, but yeah, there's lots and lots of protocols on there. Those, I touched on a few of them. So more than a few, a half a dozen.
Now, how do you exactly use it? So you get this product in the mail. Now what? How do you use it?
And I've tried my hardest to make this so ridiculously easy, and there's still a challenge. You turn it on. It's going to be in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Or if you want to go to wound healing, go backwards. You go like this. You hit play, and you put it in your pocket.
Oh, wow. That's it?
Or you wear a lanyard around your neck. That's it.
Wow.
So you turn it on, pick what you want, hit play, put it in your pocket. Now, I gave up trying to tell women not to put it in their bra because half of them
The metal?
No, I thought it would get too warm in there, and apparently women put all kinds of stuff in their bra. So put up on that and just say, put it in your bra, I don't care. It's funny because when they email me or call me, they'll go, usually they email me and they'll go, mine got wet. What can I do about it? I go, well, in the future, don't drop it in the toilet. Well, how did you do a psychic? How did you know it went in the toilet? I go, because it's the only way it can get wet. You lean it over to flush, or I don't know, somehow.
Right. Yeah.
So hit it with a blow dryer if it gets wet. Don't put it in rice because it won't dry it fast enough. But yeah, it's that simple to use, hopefully. But especially elderly people still kind of struggle with. Now, let me back up. If anyone would watch the 3-minute instruction video, they would have no problem whatsoever ever using it, but nobody does.
Right.
No one. They get it out of the box, they go start like this, and then they call me. Like, hey, mine's not doing well. I had a lady just today go, look, I hit play and it ain't doing anything. I'm like, well, you're holding the play button. Just click it once. Now, right before we started this call, she texts back, okay, sorry, that worked. That's constant of just, I'm going to write a book just about the customer experience with people. It's a USB-C charger. There's only one place to charge it, right?
Okay.
Do you remember what an old RCA cable looks like on the back of your TV? Somebody shoved one of those in there to try and charge it.
Oh, gosh.
And because I have to do this every time somebody goes, mine's not working. I'm like, don't be offended, please. Shoot a little video for 30 seconds and send it to me so I can see what you're doing. If it's broken, I'll replace it, of course.
Right.
99% of the time, they're doing something bizarre. They've got it plugged into something weird. I wish this wasn't true half the time. Not half the time. About 8 times is what I meant to say. They scan the video and it's plugged in here, but they don't have it plugged in the wall. I want to know why it's not charging. I'm like, that because there's no power going to it. But the majority of people can grab it to answer your question. It's very simple. I want to design it that it was that simple. If you don't know this, the design criteria on the original stick iPod, people could use it without instructions. That was the requirement.
Right.
That's simple. Fast forward, rewind, play, pause, volume up, down.
Right.
I tried to do the exact same thing here. So I got close, but there's a few changes we may make in the future, but we'll see. But it's super easy to use. Way easier to use than a PEMF mat that's got 7 pieces and knobs you got to turn.
Exactly.
And I'm a stickler about stuff. I get a handful of people go, "Are you going to make one that's programmable?" No. Why? No. I don't want people plugging it in and calling me and not figuring out the software. I don't want any software. So that's why there's no apps. There's nothing to download. Everything's preloaded. There's no.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so it's a complete standalone device. It done it Bluetooth interface. The first device, Bluetooth to your phone. I gave up on that one because it was too hard for people to, because what would happen, it's using sound, the Bluetooth connection, it's using speaker, not sound. So when somebody would get a phone call or a text with a ding, it would disconnect.
Oh, I see.
It's
Okay.
like in your car and you're listening to a Bluetooth speaker and you get a phone call, this music stops.
Yes.
So that would do that to them, and then they didn't know it stops. Anyway, we killed that product and we moved to this one last year. So
Yeah. How many times would you suggest using it? Like how many times daily should you suggest using it?
what I started with was naively assuming people had one ailment, and I said 3 to 4 times a week minimum for a month. And if it doesn't help you after that, then it's probably not gonna. And I based that on the clinical data, which is how many times did you go to the doctor's office before the doctor goes, "This ain't working," or "We got that diagnosis wrong." So that's what my original recommendation was and still is, 3 to 4 times. Now, I believe your body needs rest to use the energy between sessions, but I have people obsessed that are running 8 hours a day, running everything. It's like, I tell them not to do that, but I got enough data now to know nobody's overdosed.
Yeah.
Get people that are, I have one friend that was an ex-race car driver. He's, he has 4 concussions. He's been on fire twice.
Oh, wow.
He's running back pain, neck pain, trauma constantly. He's bought 15 of them.
Oh, wow.
Giving some away to friends and stuff, but he has multiple ones around the house. So
Yeah.
that's a question 3 to 4 times a week. But what I found out, and this is what I put in my marketing lectures to my marketing buddies, who every single one of them told me, only try and sell one ailment. Nobody will believe it can do more than one. Yeah, okay, I kind of believe you. That's why I concentrate on PTSD. But everyone buys it because it's more than one.
Yeah.
Nobody's got one thing wrong with them.
No.
Nine. I made up a term called diabiological syndrome. And people go, "What is that?" DIA, depression, insomnia, anxiety. Nobody's got one of those. You're either depressed because you can't sleep, or you can't sleep because you're depressed, or you're anxious because you're depressed, right? So most people, and so that's what a lot of people are like, running 3 or 4. And then sometimes a customer will go, "I don't know if it's working," but they get confused. I go, "What are you running?" And they show me 14 of them. I'm like, stop. Go back to whatever your biggest problem is. Do that once a day, maybe for 2 weeks, and see if you see a difference.
Right.
And that is with all of them, that's probably one of the biggest challenges, is when people say it doesn't help them. It did. They just forgot how bad they felt.
Yeah.
It's a huge, with back to the PTSD, 95% success rate, 2 out of 3 clinically and statistically significant. Half of those people will tell me, "Yeah, I'm not sure if it helped me or not." I'm like, "Really?" So I have a report card that says, "You were a 72 30 days ago. Today you're a 12.
Wow.
They start crying. So I get them on a Zoom call to see if I can use the video clip. They never let me, except
Right. Yeah.
they start crying because they don't remember how bad they felt. So I've talked to psychiatrists about it, and my friends that are doctors, and a bunch of other people, and they're like, "Yeah, Mark, that's true of every therapy in the world." My friend I've known since kindergarten is a chiropractor here in town. He's like, "Mark, when I get a new patient, I videotape every one of them. They come in on a walker. The next session, they come in with a cane. The next session, they come in with a lap dog. And they'll go, 'Well, I could always do this.' No, you couldn't.
Right.
You couldn't even move your arm." And people just forget. Plus, I don't want to get like into Schwarzenegger erasing your brain. It's trying, the PTSD is going after the fight or flight stuff and trying to minimize memory of bad stuff. So you are going to forget some of it. And I've had, unfortunately, a few customers send it back, tell me it didn't work, and then they buy another one. It was working apparently, because I feel worse. So
Yeah.
and I buy another one back. So that's the only downside to it, is trying to manage that part of, or if it doesn't work, 98% of the time it doesn't work. It's never going to be 100.
Right.
So it didn't work for me. It's always two things. You didn't use it, you're lying to me. You used it once and put it on the shelf, or you're not hydrated, or both.
Right.
So it resonates, we believe it resonates with the water in your body,
Oh, I see.
because a magnetic field isn't strong enough to go from here to my foot. Not this magnetic field, right? But it still makes gout disappear in your foot when it's in your top pocket.
Oh, wow.
And we know if you're not hydrated, it doesn't work as well. So when
Right.
people ask me, how can it be as good as a mat that you're laying on? That's why. It's resonating with the water in your body. Think of a pebble in a pond.
Yes.
It's a pebble, it's going to make energy at one point, but then it moves on a mechanical wave. And your body is electrically conductive. So a magnetic field makes a small electric current that also travels through your body. So that's how it's, I believe, is getting to the rest of the body. And it is. And like for PTSD, PTSD is in every part of your brain, every part of your body, every organ. So where would you put it?
Right.
Now, the challenge today is all the cranky old 75-year-old guys. And where do I put it for prostate? Well, put it in your pant line by your belly button. That's the closest I think you want to get without getting weird. Right? So that's what most of them are, just putting in their pant line on the belly button. So
Oh, that's so funny. Now, how long should a person do it? Like, so you have them do it like once a day. So how long should the time limit should they have it on for?
exactly as long as the protocol is.
Okay.
So the protocols go from 30 minutes to PTSD is a long one. It's 2.5 hours. It's actually 2 hours and 38 minutes because I added some stuff on the latest version.
Oh, okay.
But you have to run the whole thing. It's the analogy to doctors is when you take your antibiotics, they all tell you finish the bottle, right?
Yes.
So sleep is 47 minutes long. People call me and go, it's not working for me. I ran for sleep for 5 minutes last night and it didn't do anything. And it's not going to.
Right.
Because it's not. One important distinction from this device and the ones in the market, most of them are going to be running a scan of some frequencies. This one's got frequency pairs that are changing every 1 to 4 minutes.
Wow.
So PTSD is going through 76 different targets. So it's going for this part of the brain, that part of the brain, that part, then your liver, then your heart. So if you stop it halfway, you just missed half your body.
Oh, wow.
Sleep's not going to work because it's doing the same thing. I think sleep's going through, I'm guessing right now, but like 17 pairs of protocol. So you have to finish the whole thing. You can pause it, right? And I now recommend for sleep, don't put it in your pillow. I knocked one on the floor last night because I was running something else. But run it the hour before bed. You go to bed.
That makes sense.
In your pocket at 9. Some people like the lanyard and stuff that comes with it. I just put in my pocket and you don't even know it's there, right?
Right.
Kind of forget about it. And that's the easiest way to use it. But yeah, that's how long the protocols are. The average is about 40 minutes.
Wow. This is amazing. This is amazing. Now, where can people find this product?
Well, we have a landing page specifically for your listeners. It'll be Rizona.health/something. What do you want to call it?
We could call it the advisor.
The what?
The advisor. The advisor.
We'll do that. Rizona.health, there's no .com. Rizona.health/advisor, or you can give my email address and stuff and just say, hey, I don't remember the domain, where is it? And I came from this podcast, and I'll just point in the right direction. But what we'll put on the landing page is just more information about it. There's tons and tons and tons of videos and stuff, and look, all kinds of things. And then we'll give them, they retail for $399, and for like your guest, we'll give them $150 off.
Oh, excellent. That's amazing.
Just put that on the page. We'll have the little coupon and stuff there that'll load for them automatically. So
okay. And also, if you had to give people some tips and some techniques, like what are some important factors from this conversation that you want people to know? And I think one thing we have to realize that, just because you have a condition doesn't mean it can't be curable, that there are healthy ways, and there are things out there that can cure conditions naturally. And this is one of them. So what would be like a takeaway, maybe 2 or 3 takeaways that you'd like to give the audience?
I mentioned one already, which is no boson. So keep an open mind. You said something earlier about out of the box. It's like just because you don't understand it all, nobody does. Just give it a try. Like I said, I have a 30-day money back guarantee. You can't, I don't want a single person to have one where it didn't help them.
Right.
So, right, it's like that's one of them too. Is super non-technical, is come up with a routine. You know where you put it, charge it. What day am I going to do it during lunch? Am I going to do it in the morning while I'm making breakfast for the kids, or I'm driving, or whatever? Which, let me make a real quick point right there. First time you use it, if you're using it for pain, don't use it while you're driving or operating a catapult, because it can make you stoned.
Oh, really?
What happens is if you have severe pain and you instantaneously get rid of that pain, your body releases a ton of endorphins and you're going to get drunk. I had to backpedal here and sit in my chair. So that's one caution for pain. To just the first couple times you do it, don't be doing something dangerous until you know what your body's going to do. But just keep an open mind, give it a try, and just come up with a routine so that you're drinking water. 4 glasses in the 4 hours before a session. Ideally, it'll still work without it. Don't be the one guy that told me, "Oh, I'm hydrated, Mark." I go, "How much water?" "I'm hydrated, Mark." "How much water do you drink a day?" He goes, "I don't drink water." I go, "Why do you think you're hydrated?" This is his answer. He can't make this up. I had a protein drink last week. That was his answer. So drink water, which you should be doing anyway. Use it 3 to 4 times a week, right? And just give it a try and see if it works. And the other tip is, like, I'm here, contact me and stuff. I'm constantly answering. There's people will say, "It didn't do this, it didn't do that." And I'm like, try this, right?
Right.
Some simple stuff, like, show me what you're doing. It's like, I had one lady last week had the power level of 0 instead of 10. Yeah, it's not going to work at 0. So turn it back to 10. Now she's like, "Oh, this thing's amazing." Like, okay, right. It is when you turn it on. But yeah, that's just the simplest thing, is kind of get in a routine a little bit. So you're actually giving it a fair trial. Don't be this guy on Facebook. "I bought it for prostate and it didn't help at all. I want my money back." And I'm like, "Hey, Paul, obviously you could have a refund, but since you bought it 2 days ago and it hasn't been delivered till tomorrow, you're not giving it a fair chance." True story. So he posted that. They hadn't even got it delivered yet in the mail. So yeah, those are just simple tips. Is give it a shot. It's easy. Most people that come to this technology, is they've tried other stuff. They don't want to do drugs, right? They've had surgeries, they've done other things, and for PTSD, they're unhappy. Maybe it's worked, or or DI where they're moving the fingers. Just give it a try. See if it works. And for all the Facebook haters, I make this point again. I do not want a single person to have one that paid for it if it didn't help them.
Right.
I don't need that in my life. Right? Send it back. I'll give you your refund.
Right.
I donate the majority of them that I get back to the military. So there's no big loss there.
Yeah. I think this is a wonderful product. This sounds amazing. And, it sounds like you're having a great success rate with the people that are using it.
We are. There's some stuff like varicose veins that I don't have a ton of data on. I wish I had more on asthma, because I've seen some miraculous things. Addiction, we're getting some. I've had customers come to me and say, "Hey, 417 hertz is," I don't know, you could edit this part out if you want. This guy goes to me, what are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I was super addicted to cocaine and strip clubs. I ran 417 for a week. I don't want either one of them. Now it's 3 months ago." And I'm like, and he still feels the same. I'm like, okay, didn't know that. Right. So I go back and I start researching that frequency, and it cleans up DNA and recalibrates some things. And like, okay, so there's a lot of cool stuff like out there still to come that I hopefully get more and more data on.
Yeah.
Get people to give me feedback and more and more videos and stuff. Well, yeah, it worked for me, and here's why. So it's exciting. It's fun. It's the most fun I've ever had in a job.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it a job till I make a little money, but sort of.
Well, it's nice because you're helping people. You're actually you're helping people, and you're changing people's lives for the better. So that's amazing in itself.
To that, you said people, just so I can tell you what my sinister plan is. Okay. Dogs. Right. So the other half of the world is for people and pets. And so we have it's like fine with real quick. We have dog bandanas that have the custom made to have a pocket.
Oh, how cool is that?
Your dog just wears it like that, and then your dog looks cool. We have paw print ones, and I find paw print one real quick. Because this is more common when the people are buying. It looks like that.
Yeah. Oh,
But
wow.
if you got 1 second, I'll show you one other thing.
Yeah, please do.
I don't have any shoes on, so you listen. Like odd earthy mat is why I don't have any shoes on. These are called shoe fly leggings for horses.
Oh, wow.
Flies, I didn't make these, but it keeps the flies off their legs. But we're gonna, starting tonight, we're gonna start testing putting this in there for a horse.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Lax imbalance and anxiety and those type of things. So we'll see. So it's fun doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, dogs and horses. We have protocols for kidney failure and cats and stuff. I have a couple of friends that have cats. The cat will cry if you take it away from them.
Oh, wow.
Dogs and cats, they know, they will tell you if it's working.
Yeah.
They'll lay next to it and stuff. It's kind of weird to watch.
Well, they know when things are working and they want more of it when they know it's working. I had a dog that was bit by a tick and he got Lyme's disease. And after the Lyme's disease came about, he couldn't walk up the stairs anymore. And so I was giving him natural supplements and it was helping him. And he would actually come to me and want more of it because he knew it was making him feel better. So he would sit there and he would, if I gave him anything else, he would fight me. If I tried to give him a pill or something that the vet gave me, but for those supplements, he knew it worked and he would sit there and he would take it because he knew it made him feel better.
The pet owners tell me, they go, how am I going to force my dog to drink enough water? I'm like, you don't have to because they're smarter than people.
Yeah.
Not restricting their water, like people, some restrict the water so they don't pee.
Right.
You got a bowl down there 24/7, they will drink the exact amount of water they need.
Exactly.
Exactly. Smarter than us. They do it. Humans don't. But
and where's your website located? Can you tell everybody your website?
yeah, it's resona.health, RESONA.health, but we'll have them go to the / one that we just described because that'll be somewhere. But yeah, resona.health, or they can just Google resona.health. ResonaHealth.com I do have now too, which will redirect to it, but resona.health is the primary website.
Okay. And you had mentioned that you have written books in the past. Now, if anyone was interested in learning a little about, the books and about energy, where could they go to find those books?
Just on the website under shop. The book's $24.95. I have it on sale right now for $9.95. It's an ebook. So that's the first place that I would start.
Okay.
I wrote a couple books on creative thinking for businesses, but for this audience, what in the world are we doing to our health is the best place to start. And it's an easy read. I tried to make it fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love that title too. What the hell are we doing with our health? I love it.
What in the world are we doing with our health? And when Jeffrey told me that, I'm like, well, yeah, that's a better title than my resonance frequency therapy for sure.
I can't thank you enough for being on the show. This has been a wonderful experience. I've learned so much, and I've always have been into energy and everything, how strong the energy factor in our lives, how much it can change a person's life and what it does to our world. And I think you brought up so many factors to show people how productive energy healing can be, and how just by having different energy frequencies, we could heal ourselves, we could heal our body, we can heal our pets who we love so much, and there's lots of other things out there that we probably haven't even touched base yet that it's able to do for us. So this has been a whirlwind of knowledge and a great experience. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was super fun.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope to see you soon because I'd love to learn more. And this has been a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you.